Be sure to hit that like button, share your insights in the comments below, and subscribe to embark on this journey with us as we unveil our latest tales. What began as an ordinary evening with friends quickly spiraled into a revelation that shattered the very foundation of my marriage. The night began like any other, a simple gathering at our home, seemingly ordinary. Yet beneath the surface, something extraordinary was about to unfold. Yet, as the events of that evening unraveled, I found myself grappling with questions far deeper than I had ever anticipated. At 46, I find myself reflecting on nearly 2 decades of marriage to Michael. We've navigated the highs and lows much like any couple, yet I believe we had found our footing in a secure and familiar space. Nathan, Michael's best friend, had woven himself into the very fabric of our lives. He was the kind of friend who had an uncanny knack for appearing at just the right moment, providing a comforting shoulder to lean on, his jokes weaving a tapestry of laughter that left us both in tears. He possessed an uncanny ability to put anyone at ease, a rare gift that drew people in like moths to a flame. Yet on this fateful evening, the course of everything shifted irrevocably. It began as a simple idea, a casual dinner proposed by Michael. Just the three of us, a bottle of wine, and a spread of delicious food, or so we thought. As darkness settled over the horizon, I felt an unsettling familiarity in the air, a sense that this night would unfold just like the countless others before it. Yet, it truly was. The instant Nathan stepped across the threshold, an unsettling sensation washed over him, silenced. At first, it eluded me, a shadow lurking just beyond my grasp. Perhaps it was the intensity in his gaze, or the way he held me a heartbeat longer than necessary as he embraced me in greeting. I brushed it aside, convincing myself it was merely my own heightened sensitivity at play. The evening unfolded with an air of tranquility. Warm laughter danced through the air, filling our cozy living room with a vibrant energy that wrapped around us like a soft blanket. As I immersed myself in the rhythmic dance of chopping and stirring in the kitchen, the sounds of laughter and conversation between Michael and Nathan floated in from the other room, weaving a tapestry of camaraderie that filled the air. Yet, an undeniable force was pulling at my very core, a whisper I could not dismiss. As I navigated the kitchen, I felt the weight of Nathan's gaze on me, lingering with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. At that moment, our gazes locked, and an electric tension filled the air. Instant. A subtle shift, a fleeting shadow danced across his face, hinting at unspoken depths beneath the surface. A flicker of doubt danced at the edges of my consciousness, but the feeling refused to fade, haunting me like a shadow in the night. Michael and Nathan shared a bond that transcended friendship, a connection so deep it felt as if they were siblings forged by fate. As Nathan stepped through the door after a grueling day, the air thickened with unspoken words. It was a familiar scene, him and her, drawn into a world of their own, their voices weaving a tapestry of thoughts and emotions, while I busied myself with dinner, a silent observer to their connection. I felt no resistance. It provided a sanctuary for my thoughts to roam free. Yet, as their words flowed, an undeniable shift hung in the air, whispering of transformations yet to come. The air that enveloped us crackled with an unnameable tension, heavy with the weight of unspoken words. Despite my efforts to concentrate on the meal before me, an unsettling sensation crept over me, a prickling awareness that I was under scrutiny, but not in the familiar way I had grown accustomed to. At last, the aroma of dinner filled the air, drawing us together around the table, anticipation buzzing in the atmosphere. Michael seemed to exude a newfound ease, reveling in the warmth of the evening alongside his friend. Relief washed over me, a stark contrast to the tension that had gripped the last few weeks of his life. Yet, as we savored our meal, I couldn't shake the feeling of Nathan's eyes lingering on me, darting in my direction with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. His gaze was different, deeper, like he could see right through me. Every time our eyes met, I felt a strange tension in the air, igniting an unsettling flutter in my chest that defied explanation. Once dessert was finished, we retreated to the living room, where the three of us gathered around the flickering glow of the fireplace. Michael's voice droned on about his work, but my mind was elsewhere, lost in a whirlwind of thoughts that drowned out his words. Nathan loomed nearby, his presence a suffocating weight, the air thick with tension that made every breath feel like a struggle. With each word he uttered, his voice wrapped around me like a spell, pulling me deeper into his world. Yet, beneath the surface, an unsettling tension simmered, a sensation unlike anything I had ever experienced. Though I wished to dismiss it, I found myself unable to overlook the subtle shift in his demeanor as he spoke to me, as if he were inching closer, drawn by an unspoken force. It was only after Michael stepped away, claiming the need for a phone call, that the atmosphere began to change dramatically. As soon as he stepped out of the room, a transformation swept over Nathan, altering his very essence. The light-hearted, welcoming aura he once exuded vanished, giving way to a palpable intensity that filled the air. His gaze pierced through me with an intensity that left me feeling exposed, as if he was uncovering parts of my soul I wasn't prepared to reveal. He leaned in closer, his voice sinking to a hushed whisper. "There was something about you tonight," he started, his voice low and smooth, yet carrying a sharpness that sent a shiver down my spine. "There's something about you that sets you apart." My heart raced, caught in a moment that felt suspended in time. I summoned a smile, battling to keep the atmosphere from darkening. "What are you trying to say?" Nathan's gaze pierced through me, shadows deepening in his eyes. "There's something about you that's different, a kind of energy that makes me see things in a new way." The words lingered, suspended in the charged atmosphere that enveloped us. A wave of heat surged through my cheeks, leaving me at a loss for words. I couldn't explain it, but being near him made my thoughts scatter, like standing too close to a flame. Michael's voice echoed from the hallway, shattering the enchantment as I jolted back to reality. Nathan leaned back, and for a fleeting moment, the world around him slipped into a comforting sense of normalcy once more. Yet, an unsettling sensation gnawed at me, whispering that a profound transformation was unfolding between us. That night, as I lay in bed beside Michael, my mind was consumed by Nathan's words and the intensity of his gaze, each thought weaving a tapestry of uncertainty about the future of our friendship and the unraveling of my marriage. Unbeknownst to me, that moment marked the beginning of a labyrinthine journey, fraught with emotional turmoil and complexities that would soon engulf my life in ways I could never have foreseen. As the days slipped by following that haunting evening, I fought to bury the memories of what transpired with Nathan deep within the shadows of my mind. Yet, despite my relentless efforts, an unsettling sensation clung to me, a whisper of change that I could no longer dismiss. A palpable tension hung in the air between us, electrifying every glance and gesture shared with Nathan, though the unspoken words lingered heavily, unacknowledged yet undeniable. Michael and I moved through our daily routine, yet an unspoken chasm began to widen between us, even within the familiar walls of our home. We weren't at odds, not in the slightest. He remained the same warm, caring husband I had always known, yet an invisible barrier began to rise between us, and I found myself lost in the shadows of my own confusion, unable to grasp the reason behind my retreat. Perhaps it was the dawning realization of the cracks that had always existed, now looming larger and more ominous than ever before. Nathan kept coming back, as always. Every evening he followed the same ritual. He would swing by the bar after work, clutching the weight of the day on his shoulders, ready to unwind with a cold beer and engage in lively banter with Michael. Yet this time I was intensely attuned to every word spoken, every fleeting glance shared. The moments when Nathan's gaze lingered on me had transformed into something I could no longer dismiss. His smile held a secret, a knowing glint that pierced through the veil of my thoughts, as if he could unravel the very fabric of my mind. As twilight descended, casting shadows across the living room, Michael and Nathan sat together, their laughter echoing off the walls as they delved into the treasure trove of memories from their college days. The kitchen was quiet, the only sound the soft clinking of dishes as I cleaned up. Suddenly, Nathan's voice broke through the stillness, lower than usual, carrying an unexpected intimacy that sent a shiver down my spine. "You know," he said, his voice low and thoughtful, "I've always admired the way you two have weathered the storms together all these years. The path is fraught with challenges." Michael chuckled softly, a sound that danced in the air like a whisper of mischief. "Indeed, it has been quite the journey. But we're all right, aren't we?" A tense silence hung in the air before Nathan finally broke it, his voice steady, yet uncertain. "I think so." Yet, there are moments when curiosity gnaws at you, whispering of possibilities beyond the horizon. Is there more to life? To love? Is there more to experience? The dish in my hands became a weight, freezing me in place as an unsettling heaviness washed over me. Paralyzed, I found myself trapped in silence. The words Nathan had spoken echoed in my mind, a haunting refrain that refused to fade away. What was he truly hinting at? Was it merely a fleeting remical, or did it hint at something far more profound, lurking beneath the surface? I wiped my hands on the towel, inhaling deeply as the tension hung in the air. My heart thundered in my chest, and I found myself at a loss, struggling to grasp the weight of those words. It was unlike anything experienced before. Nathan had always shared his thoughts on life with candor, but this moment carried an intensity that felt profoundly different. My heart raced with an unsettling rhythm, and a creeping sense of dread washed over me as I began to perceive Nathan through an entirely different lens. Strange days unfolded ahead. Thoughts of him consumed my mind, each memory unraveling the once innocent facade of his behavior. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more beneath the surface, a hidden truth waiting to be uncovered. A whirlwind of thoughts consumed me as I grappled with the true meaning behind his words. What if life held deeper mysteries? Love whispered untold secrets, and feelings surged with an intensity beyond imagination. What if that was the very thing I had been searching for all along? Or, even more terrifying, what if he had uncovered a truth I lacked the courage to confront? And then arrived that pivotal moment, the one that would drive everything to the brink. On a Saturday afternoon, Michael found himself compelled to embark on an errand. Nathan had left, leaving only the two of us in the dim light, the air thick with unspoken words and lingering tension. In the dim light of the living room, we found ourselves lost in a web of idle chatter, the kind that had woven the fabric of our friendship over countless evenings. Words flowed effortlessly, wrapping around us like a familiar embrace. Yet beneath the surface, an unspoken tension lingered, hinting at something more profound lurking just out of reach. Yet again, the atmosphere hung heavy, charged with an unspoken tension, reminiscent of the eerie stillness that precedes a tempest. Nathan's voice shattered the stillness. I've been haunted by the memories of that night, the one we all shared together. Everything seemed to shift, didn't it? My body went rigid. His words pierced the air, sending a shiver racing down my spine. Was he referring to that night when a shiver ran down my spine? The night that haunted my thoughts, refusing to fade away. My throat tightened as I fought to maintain a calm facade. What are you trying to say? Nathan leaned forward, his gaze sharpening, yet his voice held a gentle undertone. There was an undeniable tension, a charged atmosphere that crackled between us. I can sense that you experienced it as well. My heart thundered in my chest. His words hung in the air, charged with meaning, and I felt the weight of understanding settle over me. Yet, the right response eluded me, leaving me in a tense silence. The air around us crackled with tension, as if an unseen force was poised to unleash its fury at any moment. I don't know what you mean, I said, my voice barely a whisper, as if the very air around us held secrets too heavy to bear. Nathan's lips twisted into a faint smile, a fleeting gesture that failed to ignite the depths of his eyes. Your eyes betray a hidden truth, a story waiting to unfold. It has crossed your mind, hasn't it? I averted my eyes, a warm rush creeping up to my cheeks. I yearned to refute his words, to assert that he was mistaken. Yet deep down, the undeniable truth consumed my thoughts entirely. Just as I was about to collect my scattered thoughts, the door let out a haunting creak, and Michael emerged from the shadows of the hallway. Nathan recoiled in an instant, and the atmosphere around us crackled with a sudden tension. Michael remained oblivious to the shift that had taken place around him. He carried on as he always did, animatedly recounting the errand he had just completed, blissfully oblivious to the thickening tension that hung in the air around him. Yet, an unsettling sensation clung to me, a whisper of a shift that had just occurred between Nathan and me, a change that felt irrevocable. The following days slipped away in a haze, each moment blending into the next, leaving only a sense of disorientation in their wake. Michael remained blissfully unaware of the tension thickening in the air, his routine unbroken, his carefree demeanor untouched by the brewing storm around him. Yet, I found myself unable to echo those sentiments. Whenever Nathan entered the room, my heart would quicken, pounding with an intensity that left me breathless. A shiver ran down my spine as I sensed him nearby, his eyes tracing my every move, his voice lowering to a husky whisper, just for me. There existed an unspoken depth to our friendship, a hidden layer that lingered between us, palpable yet unacknowledged, binding us in a way we both sensed but dared not confront. I fought to maintain my distance. I convinced myself it was merely a passing moment, a whisper of a thought that would soon fade into the shadows. Yet, the moments continued to accumulate, thickening the air with unspoken tension. As subtle glances exchanged and words lingered, suspended in the space between us, the truth loomed over me, undeniable and heavy. A palpable tension hung in the air, and deep down, I sensed that something monumental was unfolding. Yet I couldn't shake the feeling that I was utterly unprepared for it. As dusk settled over the city, Michael found himself still at his desk, the weight of the day pressing down on him. Late meetings were a familiar occurrence, yet this time felt different. Nathan had arrived, and once more, I found myself alone with him, the air thick with unspoken tension. Only the two of us occupied the living room, and the silence hung heavily in the air, wrapping around us like a thick fog. The relentless ticking of the clock echoed in the silence, the distant hum of the refrigerator a mere backdrop to the electric tension in the air. My heart raced as I felt the weight of Nathan's gaze, piercing through the stillness, drawing me into an unspoken connection that held me captive. He sat across from me on the couch, yet it felt as though he was mere inches away, the air thick with unspoken tension. The intensity of his gaze, the way he meticulously observed every detail of me, sent a rush of heat coursing through my skin. I squirmed in my seat, feigning calmness, while a tempest of emotions raged within me. Nathan shattered the stillness, his voice a gentle yet resolute whisper. "This is a struggle, I understand. The sensation washes over me, undeniable and electric. Yet, it's not merely a figment of my imagination, is it?" My heart raced, a sudden jolt of adrenaline coursing through me. "What are you saying?" He leaned in closer, his eyes locked onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. "How everything has transformed. You understand me completely. We share this burden together." I fought against the truth, desperate to dismiss it as nothing more than a trick of my mind. Yet, deep down, I found myself at a loss for words. How could I possibly? In his eyes the desire burned bright, an intensity that was impossible to ignore. It reflected the turmoil that churned within me, a truth I was too terrified to confront. "I don't know what you want from me," I whispered, my voice quivering with uncertainty. Nathan's expression softened, yet a profound seriousness lingered in his eyes. "I'm not here to pressure you, but I can't ignore the undeniable connection that's growing between us. And I doubt you can, as well." I gulped, my breath snagging in my throat. The gravity of his words bore down on me, and a tumultuous wave of confusion surged through my mind. Could this truly be unfolding before my eyes? Could it be true that I was actually engaged in this conversation with my husband's best friend? "I never meant for this to happen," I murmured, my voice trembling like a fragile leaf caught in a storm. "I understand," Nathan said softly. "I didn't either. Yet, there are moments when fate takes the reins, and events unfold in ways we never anticipated. It doesn't matter if it was part of our design or a twist of fate. It delves into the essence of reality." The room loomed around me, its walls tightening like a vice as I grappled with the unfolding reality. Desperation surged within me, urging my legs to propel me forward, to flee from the reality that loomed like a dark shadow, threatening to engulf me whole. Yet, I found myself unable to do so. I couldn't explain it, but being near him made my thoughts scatter, like standing too close to a flame. My heart raced, pounding wildly in my chest, each word he uttered igniting a fire within me that I couldn't extinguish. For what felt like an eternity, we lingered in silence, the air thick with unspoken words and a tension that crackled like electricity between us. Silence enveloped me, rendering my voice mute, my body paralyzed. and my mind a blank slate. The choice loomed before me, heavy and suffocating, its implications swirling in the shadows of my mind. Just then, as if summoned by an unseen force, Michael stepped through the door. The door swung open, releasing a haunting creak that echoed through the silence, and in that fleeting moment, the world around me transformed completely. Nathan swiftly regained his composure, slipping back into his nonchalant facade, as if the moment had never occurred. Michael flashed a grin and welcomed Nathan, while I struggled to muster a smile in response. Yet within me, a tempest raged, pulling me deeper into an abyss of despair. The conversation droned on, but my mind was elsewhere, lost in a whirlwind of thoughts that pulled me away from the present. Thoughts surged through my mind like a tempest, emotions swirling in a chaotic dance. How could I keep up the facade, acting as if everything remained the same? How could I gaze into Nathan's eyes and not feel the weight of everything we had just experienced together? The weight of the deception pressed heavily on my chest, and deep down, I understood that this masquerade couldn't last forever. That night, as Michael and I settled into bed, I found myself lying in the darkness, my gaze fixed on the ceiling above. Doubt crept into every corner of my mind, leaving me adrift in a sea of uncertainty. What was I meant to do now? How had everything spiraled into such chaos? And above all, what was it that pulled me towards Nathan, even as everything I had constructed with Michael teetered on the brink of collapse? As the weight of uncertainty pressed down on me, I realized a choice loomed ahead, yet the path forward remained shrouded in fog. As I lay there, a whisper of a thought reverberated through my mind. Perhaps the answer had always lingered in the shadows of my mind. The days that followed that fateful night with Nathan unfolded in a haze of turmoil and uncertainty. As I navigated through my daily routine, putting on a brave face for Michael, the emotional storm brewing within me grew increasingly difficult to suppress. Each encounter with Nathan ignited that unmistakable pull, a silent tension that simmered just beneath the surface, waiting to erupt. An invisible thread bound us together, unyielding and relentless, and no matter how fiercely I struggled, I found myself ensnared, unable to escape its grasp. Michael, with his unwavering optimism, remained blissfully unaware of the transformation that had taken hold of me. He remained his loving, supportive self, and a part of me couldn't help but feel a flicker of resentment towards him for it. Why was he blind to my silent battle? Why was he oblivious to the chasm that had formed between us? Yet a nagging doubt crept into my mind. Was I truly being unjust to him? He stood there, a storm of emotions swirling within him, knowing deep down that he had done nothing wrong. This was my war to wage. As twilight descended, casting shadows over the world, I settled onto the porch with a glass of wine in hand. Michael had retreated to bed early, leaving me alone with the enveloping darkness, my gaze lost in the depths of the night. The cool breeze whispered against my skin, yet it failed to quell the tempest raging within me. The sound of footsteps echoed behind me, a chilling reminder that I was not alone. I spun around, and there he was, Nathan, framed in the doorway, his silhouette stark against the warm glow of the room behind him. He remained silent, a shadowy figure in the dim light, his gaze fixed on me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. The silence enveloped us, dense and suffocating, yet for once I found no urge to break it. Uncertainty gripped me, a shadow lurking in the corners of my mind. Had I truly reconciled with the tumult of emotions swirling within? Or was I simply too weary to resist their pull any longer? Nathan moved closer, settling beside me in silence, his presence enveloping me with a warmth that sent a shiver down my spine. I remained still, rooted in place, refusing to pull away. In that fleeting instant, tranquility enveloped the world. Silence enveloped us. The only sound breaking the stillness was the rhythmic rise and fall of our breaths, a calm before the storm. "You've been avoiding me," Nathan said quietly, shattering the stillness that hung between them. As I turned my head to face him, a jolt of surprise coursed through me, heavy with the gravity of his words. "I haven't been avoiding you," I replied, the words slipping from my lips like a half-truth, knowing deep down that shadows of doubt lingered in the corners of my mind. A thought had just crossed my mind. Nathan nodded, his eyes locked onto the earth beneath him, as if it held the weight of his thoughts. "I understand. The path ahead is tangled, yet you need not navigate it alone. I inhaled sharply, the gravity of his words pressing down on me like a heavy cloak. Confusion swirled around me like a tempest, and I turned to Nathan, desperation lacing my voice. I don't know what's happening. Despair clung to me like a shadow, suffocating and relentless. I felt lost, adrift in a sea of uncertainty, with no land in sight. The weight of indecision pressed heavily on my chest, leaving me gasping for clarity. What path lay ahead? I was at a crossroads, and every option seemed shrouded in darkness. Everything has shifted, and a sense of powerlessness grips me tightly. Nathan hesitated, the silence stretching between them like a taut wire, his thoughts racing in the shadows of his mind. He remained motionless, absorbing every sound, his aura a beacon of tranquility amidst the chaos. For the first time in days, a sense of being truly heard washed over me. I couldn't suppress the tumult within me. I pressed on, my voice trembling just enough to betray the storm brewing inside. What transpired between us was more than just a fleeting moment. It held a significance that I can't shake off. Yet the meaning eludes me, shrouded in mystery. Uncertainty loomed in the air, a heavy weight that pressed down on my thoughts. Was it a mere error, a fleeting moment that would fade into oblivion, or did it hold the power to alter everything? The question gnawed at me, leaving a trail of doubt in its wake. Nathan's gaze melted with warmth as he extended his hand, his fingers brushing against mine in a tender embrace. I believe it was intentional. Yet, I urge you to steer clear of choices driven by guilt or fear. You are not bound to me in any way. It's a journey only you can embark on, a quest that demands your attention and patience. Take the time you need to unravel the mysteries that lie ahead. My gaze lingered on our hands, the sheer simplicity of his touch, anchoring me in a world that felt both chaotic and serene. A strange sensation enveloped her, a haunting tug of war between two worlds, each calling her name with an irresistible pull. On one hand, there was Michael, the life I had woven with him, a tapestry of security and the comforting embrace of familiarity we had forged together. On the other hand, there was an undeniable bond with Nathan, something primal and fresh that had stirred me in ways I couldn't articulate. I love Michael, I whispered, the words leaving a bitter aftertaste on my tongue. I do, but uncertainty gnaws at me. Is it truly enough anymore? Nathan offered a subtle smile, one that spoke volumes of understanding. Sometimes, love alone isn't enough. It's a journey into the depths of your desires, a quest for the essence that completes you. Embrace the transformation. It's a natural part of life to evolve and leave behind what no longer serves you. Your needs now may starkly contrast with those you had a decade ago. A lump tightened in my throat, and I could feel the tears on the brink of cascading down my cheeks. The thought had lingered in the shadows of my mind, unacknowledged until this moment. The unsettling realization that I had outgrown fragments of my existence, even those elements that once wrapped me in a cocoon of safety. A tremor escaped my lips as I exhaled, the air hitching in my throat. I can't bear the thought of causing Michael any pain. I can't bear the thought of losing him. Nathan's grip tightened around my hand. Then don't do it. This is not a matter of causing pain to anyone. It's a journey of discovering what truly serves your soul. Do not cling to the familiar out of fear of the unknown. Yet, be wary of diving headfirst into the next thrilling adventure, simply for the sake of the thrill. The words vibrate in the atmosphere, and for the first time in what feels like an eternity, I sense the sweet relief of breath filling my lungs once more. In the midst of chaos and doubt, a flicker of clarity ignited within me. I held the reins of my destiny, poised to decide the course of my journey ahead. What truly mattered transcended the desires of Nathan and Michael. It revolved around my desires. I think I need some time, I said quietly, my voice unwavering, a rare moment of clarity cutting through the chaos that had consumed me for days. Nathan nodded, his expression soft yet profound, as if he held the weight of unspoken stories within him. Take as long as you require. Never lose sight of the fact that you are worthy of happiness. As I sat there, the heavy burden of my choices looming above me, an unexpected wave of tranquility washed over me. Uncertainty loomed over me like a thick fog, shrouding the path ahead. The echoes of what transpired between Nathan and me lingered, elusive and haunting, leaving me to grapple with the mysteries of our fractured connection. Yet, there was one truth I held close to my heart. I would unravel the mystery in my own time, at my own pace, and whatever lay ahead, I would confront it armed with the unwavering certainty that I possessed the power to choose.